it's important to have a good set of speakers. I don't obsess on that. I've had the same thing I've had for years, and they're fine. They're not the best monitors around, but it is important to have good, just basically you want something that's pretty flat. But the most important thing actually is getting to know your own speakers. More important almost than the speaker itself. If you know your own speaker, I mean, generally I think the problem with stereo speakers, if people are listening and considering that sort of thing, is they're meant to sound good in a room, and they're meant to often they'll pump the bass up, and they're not really giving you a clear picture. But any decent monitor speaker, if you get to know it, you can start to figure out and listen to records that you love on that thing, so you can sort of tune your ear. That's the most important thing. Again, I'm going to sort of come back to these same things, but your ears are far more important than your gear. Listen to what you've got. If you can only afford, some crappy monitors, use them and take your favorite records and listen to them over and again, and you start to hear how the records that you like, the way they sound, how they sound in those speakers. Then you start working your own stuff, and you go, oh, I need to boost this level or change the EQ in this way, and you can adjust. Knowing your own monitor is the most important thing. Yeah, if you have your own set, if it's cheap, it doesn't matter. Just get to know it, listening to records you like, and you can tune your ears to understand how those speakers are working. And then when you're mixing and recording, making adjustments. So one thing I will say: don't mix on headphones. A lot of kids think what I just said does not apply to headphones. It's bad for your ears because you end up listening way too loud. I think I did some damage to my ears when I was first recording. I was doing stuff on headphones, and you get so turned on, you're excited and blasting stuff, and you really throw your ears out. And also it's just not that. I don't think you can adjust for. They tend to. It's just not the right way to mix. The one thing you can test, you can sort of get your stereo feel. That's one thing I sometimes check with my headphones to kind of get my stereo image a little more dialed in. If there's something I'm not sure where something's sitting, you can use headphones to check back and forth. The panning of whether something's on the left side or the right side or somewhere in the middle. So headphones can help you. Sometimes if you want to see, I feel like the whole mix is a little too hard to you've kind of moving things around the panning, and so you're starting to feel like maybe it's pulling one way or the other, or the vocals in the center, but because of the way everything else is lined up, it feels like it's pulling. So sometimes headphones can help you kind of make sure you have that, so that you have a nice full mix covering the whole speakers. And if you're using a reverb, it's like maybe you want the reverb to sit in a different. I mean, that's something I like to do a lot, where I'll have maybe a sound over here, and the reverb isn't necessarily sitting with the sound. The reverb might pull in a different way, or an echo might pull to a different side of the mix in a way, so that the mix is alive and moves around as you listen to it. Not necessarily with crazy panning effects, but just the way it sort of throbs. I kind of like to feel the throb of the mix, and so the stereo image is important for that. So you want to make sure it's pulsing in a way that's giving you something that you enjoy.